Your Excellency, you're welcome to Press R.
Thank you very much.
We're pleased to have you on this special edition of Press R.
It's a pleasure.
May I have a seat? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this special edition of Press R. Today we are broadcasting live from the Distance Learning Center of the Ministry of Secondary Education. The saying that necessity is the mother of invention is applicable to the creation of this center. This learning center, this Distance Learning Center, came to light to solve the problem of physical contact created by COVID-19 that threatened the classroom context, thus threatening the very core of education. Thank goodness, the Ministry of Secondary Education was not only proactive, it was also reactive, and the aftermath has been transformative. Today, it has affected and effected a paradigm shift from an analog to a digital classroom. We now have a smart, intelligent, and magic board. You will learn more about these concepts that have already been put into practice by the Ministry of Secondary Education. I am Kilian Ndandifon in Yaoundé, and this is Press R. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome once again to this special edition of Press R. We're going to look at the transformative effect of the digital education in Cameroon on today's edition of Press R. And since it's a special edition, we have special people for you on this program. We have Her Excellency Professor Nalova Lyonga, who is the Minister of Secondary Education herself, who has come to enlighten us on what the ministry has been doing, on what the ministry is doing, and to tell you that the vision has only started. You're welcome to this program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Killian.
Yes,
we are delighted to have you here at the Distance Education.
We are honored, and just besides you, Your Excellency, we have the Secretary General of the Ministry of Secondary Education, Professor Nkot Fabien, and he has been on Press R before, and we are delighted to have you again.
My honor.
Yes, we have a battery of experts from the Ministry of Secondary Education that you are going to discover in the course of this program. But we will not fail to introduce those regular panelists that you have on Press R. We're going to start with the journalists, Meet Promise Akante. She is a corporate communicator. Promise, you're welcome.
Hello, Killian. Thanks for having me, and hello to all the millions of followers of CRTV. We hope that with this hour with the press, we are going to bring forth all what the ministry is doing to make our students more comfortable in classrooms.
That is exactly why we are here, and let me introduce you, the Richard Lajong. The Richard Lajong is the publisher and editor-in-chief of the Herald Tribune newspaper. Richard, welcome.
Thank you, Kilian. It's my pleasure to be back on set after a while, and we hope that by the end of today, viewers would have learned something, especially as we have guests, which is not usually the case. We have the Minister of Secondary Education, and she's here, as you introduced earlier, with a battery of her collaborators who will be here to shine light to distance education, which is coming in new in Cameroon, and I think people have been appreciating it.
Thank you so much, Richard, for coming, and we have experts, technical directors from the Ministry of Secondary Education, but we have an independent expert of IT, who is the president of the board of trustees of ICT University in the world, because it's not only based in Cameroon. Meet Professor Victor Baraka. You're welcome, Prof.
Thank you so much, Killian. It's my honor to be at such an exemplary ministry under the leadership of Her Excellency, who is also a fellow university professor. So I'm really honored to be here and look forward to the show.
And the show will be hot, ladies and gentlemen, we promise you. First things first, we're going to call on Clovis Bawe to present press review. He's the one who read the newspapers for the week. Clovis?
Newspapers across the country continued to capture the major stories shaping national life. We kick off with politics. The dust is yet to settle on the November 30 regional elections. Elecam opened the week by unveiling its balance sheet. According to Cameroon Tribune, the board chair of Elecam, Eno Abrams Egbe, applauded the smooth manner in which operations were conducted, calling the process a reassuring step for democracy. But the spotlight quickly shifted the next day, with the Guardian Post projecting into 2026. The paper focused on preparations for next year's legislative and municipal elections. Cameroon Insider added that Elecam's self-evaluation is designed to enhance democratic standards and reinforce public trust. Away from politics, the media newspaper sounded the alarm on persistent power outages, saying Mutengene has gone 9 whole months without electricity. Frustrated residents, the paper notes, blocked major road junctions to demand redress of the situation. But just as temper fled, a breath of relief followed. The Post announced that the National Electricity Company will deploy a transformer to the southwest region. And to brighten the picture even further, Cameroon Insider revealed government's plans to add 50,000 new electricity connections by September 2026, an effort to boost the national access rate now at 74% and to modernize supply for homes and industries. And while electricity made headlines, another sector was preparing to break grounds literally. Municipal Updates reports that Finance Minister Louis-Paul Motaze laid the foundation stone for the future headquarters of Cameroon Customs Office. Both the Guardian Post and the Horizon newspaper estimate the cost of the imposing structure at 23 billion CFA francs, evidence of a sector seeking both space and stature. Then the week flipped to academia, where a genuine shake-up hit the ICT University. According to the Guardian Post, Professor Emmanuel Tonye now takes the helm as Vice-Chancellor. Professor Awona Onanashal becomes the Vice President, while Professor Jean-Emmanuel Pondi assumes the role of Honorary Vice-Chancellor, a reshuffle expected to redefine academic leadership within the institution. But the calm did not last. The paper soon dove back into controversy. The death of politician Georges Anissé Kane resurfaced across several publications. The Sun ran a striking headline on the circumstances surrounding his passing, amplifying calls for the unconditional release of those still in detention. The Median, for its part, published strong accusations from critics who blamed the Biya regime for negligence. And then came the kind of stories that sparked debate in bars, taxis, and family tables. The Guardian Post profiled government officials who have remained in the same office for 21 years. In another edition, the same paper spotlighted figures who, in its words, staked their life in vain for the Biya regime. And that wraps our press review for this week. Take another rendezvous next week. Your time with us is precious.
Thank you so much, Clovis. We look forward to having you next Sunday for another edition of Press R. And now we're going to move directly to the core of the matter. And we have decided to entitle today's edition of Press R, Digital Education. Will it be the margin one to transform Cameroon? This is just part of a whole. Madam Minister, Your Excellency, tell us, this is coming from somewhere, from a general policy, strategy, and probably you are at the level of the tactics. Tell us where we are coming from.
Let me also begin by thanking you for coming to Minisec, to hear what we're doing here in this place. And I want to begin directly also with a term, a concept which englobes all that we do in Minisec, and that concept is called Clean School. Whatever we're doing it under the banner of Clean School. What is clean? Clean means to be free from dirt. No dirt, that's clean. What is Clean School? School is an institution. So it's to have an institution that is free from dirt. And when we talk about dirt, I'd like people to think about, of course we have the practical view of dirt all over our streets, but there are other things that come into this dirt, and it comes into the morals, it comes into the intellectuals of the institution. And so, when we say clean school, we're trying to make Cameroonians mark their imprint on the institutions that they are creating in Cameroon. To say that they can create an institution without a mark of dirt. That is what we're doing when we say clean school.
So as you're saying, the dirt is physical, the dirt is moral.
The dirt is intellectual.
The dirt is intellectual.
You can actually put so many things that you want to put into it because it's quite dynamic. It's a dynamic concept. It's also a very complex philosophy.
Now, let's look at it from a political, educational, and institutional basis. Can you tell us?
Well, I want to tell you first of all that Clean School, what are the triggers? Clean School started from, as you pointed out, from the pandemic, COVID-19. And from there, all the things that people were saying, all the body bags, all the shutdown of schools, I think people know it quite well. And I think the story should go on so that Cameroonians would know exactly what the effect is. Because if they knew very well, we would not be seeing the dirt that we're seeing on the streets, because COVID can actually sit up on one of those heaps and say, after me, you have dirt, you dare to have dirt. Because that's all. Washing of hands, cleaning hands, having a clean institution, and all of that. So we had that. Now I'm going to ask my Secretary General to give us the background, some of the philosophical ideas, political, educational, etc., that triggered this whole thing.
Professor Nkot Fabien, over to you.
Thank you very much, Madam Minister. I think we have basically like 4 levels. The first level is the level of the vision of the head of state. The head of state is stating clearly that we must make sure to universalize, the access to quality education by using all the modern tools of communication. Under the vision of the head of state, you have the National Development Strategy. And this National Development Strategy is stating clearly that we should develop the production of digital content. And under the National Development Strategy, you have the strategy of the subsector of education and training. And what is this strategy of the subsector of education and training saying? It's saying that the digitalization should become the driver of educational transformation. And under this strategy of the subsector of education and training, you have then the Ministry of Secondary Education that is having an operational concept, which is the Clean School. And as Madam Minister was saying a few minutes ago, Clean School is both at the physical level as well as the governance level. Why? Because when you are digitalizing, for instance, the fees that students are paying in school, you are addressing a governance issue.
Exactly, especially corruption that before, I don't want to say you're coming. It's a generalized situation and Cameroonians are aware. Even the first citizen has been fighting corruption himself and he continues to fight. But now let us understand this concept of clean schools. What will someone get away with if you were to ask, what are the characteristics? How do you identify what now you call clean school? Go ahead. Yes, okay. You have a technical director who is in charge of that. Please, you may introduce yourself and then just go ahead to giving us the characteristics of a clean school. Sir?
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I am Pierre Bernard Nkwa, the Director of Financial and Material Resources, Secondary Education. We are going to talk about 7 characteristics. 7. The first one, the minister has already said it. A clean school obviously should be clean, should be attractive, should be beautiful. Students should be happy to go to school every morning because they will see flowers, they will see green spaces, they'll be happy. The second characteristic is that a clean school should be innovative and intelligent. A clean school should use technology in teaching. A clean school should use digital lessons, should use all the educational innovations that exist. The third characteristic is that a clean school should be secure. Once a student has entered the school, the student and the teacher should feel in security. Then a clean school should have security cameras, should have a fence. A clean school should have a strong strategy against violences. A clean school should have a strong strategy against the consumption of drugs. A clean school should be secure. The fourth characteristic is that a clean school should be inclusive.
What do you mean by inclusive, sir?
A clean school should be gender sensitive. Okay. A clean school should be a good strategy in counseling. At times, children have frustration at home, in communities. A clean school should be able to help those students to cope with all the challenges of the modern world. That's how even at a distance education, there's a helpline facility to accompany students, accompany their parents.
I was counting. There should be 7 already.
No, we are just at the 4th one. The clean school obviously should be performant because students are coming to school to acquire competencies. So students in a clean school should have good results in official exams, good results.
That should be what the Secretary General, the Minister is talking about, intellectual cleanliness.
Intellectual. When we say performance, it means that a clean school should always have remedy strategies. At times there's a strike, at times there's something that has disturbed the classes. A clean school should always have remedy strategy to improve on the education. The 6th one, in a clean school, we should have good governance. That is to say that today, nowadays, in a clean school, students should enroll in the digital map, school map. In a clean school, managers, that is school officials, should be having a sound management system.
Thank you. I think we had that. It will allow you, the concept goes maybe up to 100 characteristics. I think that's good enough. I will give the floor to one of the panelists. Promise Akante, but before we're going to stay on this concept of clean school. But near you, I have Professor Victor Baraka, who is not based in Cameroon. He just flew in from the United States, and he is, apart from anything else, an educationist. Those characteristics of clean school, comparatively, do you have those characteristics in the United States in the normal, we should say, sample school? What is the situation like if we were to compare our situation in Cameroon and that of the West, especially with the US where you're based?
Oh, absolutely. Like Her Excellency the Minister puts it, this is not just educational, it's deeply philosophical too. And US secondary schools, they have similar concepts, but the truth is it's very difficult to manage them because there are a lot of freedoms they have there that they allow students to do a lot of things that are very detrimental, especially in public schools. Like I would not send my kids to a public school in much of the US. I send them to private schools because they have just lost some morals in the US that we have here in secondary schools. And I'm very familiar with both systems. I'm a product of Cameroon secondary education, free education. I went to Collège Bilingue and Lycée Bilingue here in Yaoundé. Two schools I plan to do some big things for, by the way. And the level of discipline we have here is just not in the United States. They have this very poor concept that it's free, you're free to do anything you want to do. So the US still has major problems, especially with the minority community.
Will you say that we are instead moving into, because the concept of violence in school, we did not see this. Are we moving instead towards a situation, a worse situation?
No, but Kilian, I think Cameroon is far ahead of the US in terms of, if you want to talk of clean schools, not just, I mean,
not environment.
Maybe the issue of real dirt, it may be cleaner in the US, but the other things the technical director has explained, I think Cameroon is far ahead of the US in that, in my opinion.
Okay.
From what I've seen, we are way far ahead in our country here than there's no comparison.
Thank you so much. We're going to stay in the clean school concept, and I will call on Promise Akante to ask a question in this respect.
Yes, Kilian, thank you very much. As a parent, I am saying from a lot of experience what we are living, like the intellectual access. We talk about digitalization, paying school fees online, and also the online matriculation of students with a unique identifier. So I'm going to ask, like, how far have we gone with this? I know that my children in the house have their matricle. They have to go online to see where their matricle is, to pay fees. But what about those who cannot access, the Android phone? They don't have the phones, the website to contact. How do they go about it? How is it feasible and practically applicable, the online payment of fees, school fees, and the unique identifier?
Thank you. All questions here are directed to the Minister of Secondary Education, but she has the authority to delegate one of her technical staff to answer the question.
Yeah,
Yes.
we make sure that everybody takes part in developing the clean school, so that it's not just the minister. When I bring an idea, I want all my veterans to have it, so that if I'm not there, I may not be there tomorrow. But the idea should not just be missing. And that's why I bring this battery of people to actually explain, not just the minister, but also to explain what this is all about. I think we've gone past the problem of access, because all our children have phones. All our children have computers. There are all sorts of things that they can do better than you and I may do. They know it better. So this access, it's not really a problem, though we're tackling it, because we have the hinterland where we have problems with that. One of them is going to talk about this. Mr. Jabba, should I ask you to talk about it, or should Mr. Molu talk about it? The financial director will talk about it.
Thank you, Your Excellency. What was the ambition, what was the objective of moving towards the registration online? It was simple. It was to eliminate all the drawbacks of moving with money, going and paying money, standing in front of the bursar's office for days, and at the end of it to hear that maybe the bursar has disappeared, he is sick,
and the money is no longer
and the money is no longer
in the pockets of the students.
So
yes, thank you so much. The minister called. The
Follow-up question to that one,
the
for example.
Yeah, you
yes.
go ahead. The minister called two names. I just give each of them, Mr. Mulu and Mr. Jaba. Do you have something to add to that?
The use of digital tools to cheat. And I think it is very important to begin by recalling that it is proven today that digital resources facilitate and improve the teaching. That's why our minister every time asks teachers to use digital tools and so on. I don't know if I am in the way, if it is the moment to talk about, because
since you are asking, Mr. Mulu, I will just let you, Mr. Mulu, the minister also cited your name. I don't know.
Thank you, Excellency. So looking about this issue of school fee payment, I think that we can recall that while she was still the Vice Chancellor of the University of Buea, she started this idea of online payments there. And I can tell you a lot, we in the University of Bamenda were so jealous of students in the University of Buea because we used to spend days in front of banks to pay fees, get a receipt, go to the office, validate that receipt. But in Buea, she had MTN and Orange and students paying their fees from their homes. And so this is not a new concept for her. It may be new for a lot of Cameroonians and parents, but for the minister and her vision and how she sees technology solving problems, she just brought this vision into secondary education.
Thank you so much.
So now that's for Momo and
let's promise.
Yeah, let me just land on the last point because we have
on the same line.
We have for the phones. What about bank cards? Can parents pay fees through bank cards? Because for now it's about MTN, it's about Orange. What about the bank cards?
Of course. All over the country, the minister is not biased in the people she partners with. So we have banks, we have microfinance institutions, and we also have the mobile money companies where parents, it is free, whatever you have access to, use it to pay the fees. The idea is that we are going to bridge that gap with technology so that you don't go and give money to anybody, you actually send your money directly to where it's supposed to go.
Richard, he has talked about partnership. Do you have a question in that direction?
Yes, I have a question on partnership, but before I ask that question, please permit me come back to the issue of paying fees online, which the minister introduced in the University of Buea, and it's introduced it within her ministry.
Not only our ministry, all schools.
Well, all schools. And I want to say, Kilian, it has really curbed embezzlement or money being misused, or for other things. But my question is the sustainability. We are all aware that what she introduced in the University of Buea worked so perfectly well. And recently, we know that the current Vice Chancellor has again gone back to the old way of doing things, where students will have to pay school fees through the banks. I want to ask the minister, how sustainable would this be even after she leaves office?
Oh, this is why I was telling you that we have sort of shared the vision amongst us, because we are really, really, really afraid of this kind of thing happening. I'm not sure to be here tomorrow, but I'm not sure that the person who will come after me would not want to show that he started something, and therefore canceling what I've done because it's not over, in order to have something that an ex-person has started. Somehow we have that system in Cameroon where in order to make the present person recognized, he has to blot off the person who was there before him. We are hoping that this does not happen. You can see that I'm using both the Francophones and Anglophones. You know, I mean, so please appreciate our bilingualism here. Some of them are speaking in English, which is not their first language, but everybody has to do something on digitalization. It's important. And the point is that when I came to Yaoundé, the worst things that we had in terms of image was this collection of money. Ministry of Secondary Education had the worst image. You know, corruption, appointments, you had to pay to be appointed something, so much money. Today nobody pays and they take it for granted. I think I better begin to ask them to come and bring me my millions, you know. They think that I'm so stupid that people are being appointed heads of department, principals, etc., without paying a franc, you know. And so that's it. And my Secretary General can even tell you, he's telling me this every day. You can say what you want to say.
Yes, of course. It is a serious challenge that we are facing, because we are asking ourselves the question every time I have coordination meeting with my boss. I'm looking at the reform that the ministry is carrying. And on this thing, I'm asking myself, what if tomorrow morning somebody that is not sharing this vision is coming in and is saying, what is all this, what is this all about? But to come back to this issue of payment of fees through the mobile money, you need to know that we have some agreements with some companies, you know, and we have signed, the minister have signed some MOU with some company that are involved in the collection of money. And it is also the occasion to thank the head of state that did something exceptional on this issue, because he authorized Madam Minister to not only to collect that money, but to put the money in a private bank for the money to be safe.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. You have heard from the minister.
So
if there is someone, yes, I will give you the floor after this. Richard, you ask your question. If someone comes and tells you that they pay to be transferred, to be appointed, you report. You report. If you don't know where to go to, I have access to the minister. Come and tell me, I will whisper into her ears.
Right.
Thank you.
About partnership. I just want to find out whether the Ministry of Secondary Education has partnered with some institutions, some organizations, to be able to realize these projects so that it gets to the nooks and crannies of Cameroon.
Of course, you can't begin anything without partnering with those who have done it before and done it successfully. And so we have our partners. I'm going to let Choneng please come into that. Partnerships.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for giving me the floor. MINESEC has partners, and those partners are people who are able to get right to the suburbs, like Campost. You know, Campost is represented in all subdivisions in Cameroon. MTN is a partner. Orange is a partner. Afriland First Bank is a partner. So in Afriland, you can pay with your digital card, as Madam was asking. Can you pay with your digital card? Yes. If you go to Afriland, you will pay with your digital card.
No advert here. No. Yes, you can go on.
So those are the partners with who are accompanying MINESEC in this process of collecting fees. Express Union is there, one of our partners, and you know Express Union is also represented right in all subdivisions. They are there. Those are the people who help us to make sure that our schools of the interlands are able to have access to this service.
My partnership was not related to the payment of school fees,
yes,
but with the distance learning.
Yeah.
If MINESEC has partnered with some organizations to be able to provide the necessary equipment that is needed in these institutions.
Yes. I just want to say that, please take note of this, that MINESEC talks and walks. We talk the talk and we walk it. So whatever we say that we do, we ensure that we partner with others to do the tooling effect, bringing in the tools that are necessary for accelerating the modernization of pedagogy in Cameroon. They're going to show you some of that, how that is done, since you're talking about partnership. At this level, yes, can you come in?
Yes, we have so many partners working with the Ministry of Secondary Education for the digitalization of many things, particularly the digitalization of education. I also remind to all of us that the first camera we used to record lessons was given by UNESCO. We have tablets on the field in school now, given by UNICEF. We have so many partners, even local partners, who decide to work together with the Ministry of Secondary Education in order to help all of our schools to have digital tools that are very useful for the digitalization of the teaching and the learning. The magic board, as my minister like to call what we have, because it is a board where you can write, you can do all what was possible in a classic blackboard, but you can also use videos and so on. That's why our minister called that magic board. It with partnership that we success to have a good number of these tools, and now we have some of our schools that are using it. I think I will give some videos to
yes, we're going
yes,
to get the videos.
Yes, where
and
you will
we're
see,
going to watch the videos.
Yes, and you will see somebody who can be surprised that it is here in Cameroon. Another tool we have, and that is very important, this one, we call it microcloud. Because many times they are complained, digitalized, it's only for urban, it cannot be used in a remote area. With this tool that we have by partnership with Promethean and with Commonwealth and so on, it is possible to have a local network without internet and use the digital tools in class. That is possible by our partner. That was some idea I can say according to partner who help us to put in place the digitalization.
Thank you very much. You talk about Promethean, and I was here when the director of Promethean was here with the minister to finalize the digital boards that are used in schools. We're going to get to the one of the persons who is the principal of Government Bilingual High School, Tukebe in Yaoundé. But Madam, please, you just hold your peace. We talked to the director of Promethean and asked him. He says that the idea was born from an alignment of ideas between him, that's his organization, the Ministry of Secondary Education, represented by our able Minister Professor Nalova Lyonga. Let us watch how it started.
The first meeting, however, with the Ministry of Education, I was able to see that there was a real alignment. You know, there was a real understanding and togetherness around digital technology. The Minister, of course, had already started some of her digital agenda, particularly during COVID. And that was how to educate children that weren't necessarily able to go to school, and as later, aren't able to come into a school setting. So the digital discussion was a really exciting one. You know, I'm an advocate of technology, have been all of my working career, but the passion that the Minister displayed was fascinating. But bigger than that, I was able to see over the course of the week, through meeting with Prime Minister, meeting with the Minister of Commonwealth, meeting with the Minister of Finance, meeting with the Minister of External Affairs and others, the real alignment around the National Development Plan. You know, the Vision 2035 plan, the SDN 30 plan, really showed a clarity of thought that allowed me to align with the Minister and the government over these key challenges around digitisation and how we could operate towards the larger good for Cameroon. It was a very enlightening experience and one I won't forget that week, but it allowed us to build forward, and we've done that now. We've done that very successfully, I think, since that period, and we now start the next chapter of that digital journey with the Ministry of Secondary Education and thinking about some of the newer technology opportunities that are starting to present themselves.
Yes, Professor Victor Baraka, this is your field. What have you been doing? When you watch what's happening in the Ministry of Secondary Education, and you have your own university, which we should call it Digital University because it's ICT. So how do you align also, to use the words of the director of Promotion, that his ideas aligned with the ideas of the minister in charge of secondary education?
Yeah, first of all, I've bragged about this ministry many times on TV, not just in the US, but even on your show here, because when I learned about the fact that students can pay fees online, that was a major, major thing. At the time, some Cameroonians were criticizing because the system was not working well in the beginning. And you know, we just have pleasure criticizing our country. Any technology takes 5, 6, 7 years to mature. You cannot launch anything and expect it. If it works perfectly, it must be some secret society work. I mean, I'm a full and an endowed professor of IT. And let me tell you this, it will shock you that even in the US, we have difficulties getting our lecturers to teach online. It takes time for these technologies to mature, and they may even mature long after the minister is not here. And that's why the question of sustainability is very important. It's not just a problem here in Cameroon. Let me tell you, I will not call the country because I met with the president of one country, and he wanted to digitize meetings such that they don't have to keep sending people abroad on missions. At night, several top government officials came to my hotel asking me to discourage the president from doing online because that is how they get their out-of-state allowances. They actually came to me. I will not call the country. I always get in trouble on social media when I do this.
Yes, you better don't.
But I am more than excited that this is happening in our own country, and it's a very positive thing to hear that our secondary schools, honestly, I didn't know this, have smart boards.
Yes, they
okay,
do.
and I like that you have termed in magic boards. I think I'm going to take that to my class in the US.
That's the appellation of the Minister of Secondary Education, and I've watched them. They're really magical. Yeah, you need to go see them.
Absolutely. We had our first Vice Chancellor, Professor Chumbo, who is in his 70s at the time, teach online. So I want to tell you, these things take time to mature. People are scared of technology at the start, but that's why ICT University is there to facilitate. So this training's going on with the lecturers or the teachers in the secondary schools and so on. It's amazing, and it is only going to get better. But let's not forget, Killian, we must also start thinking about issues of cybersecurity, because there are unintended consequences of technology. I supervise a PhD in this domain. Let's also be ready that as it matures, you know, we are in the business of hacking. The system can be hacked into, and they ask the Ministry of Secondary Education a Bitcoin of $3 million to release it.
Thank you.
That could happen, so we must also start thinking ahead of time,
yes,
because as good as it is, the same good things that are there can be hacked into.
Okay, the other side of the coin. Thank you for the suggestion. I know, okay.
Just one word.
Yeah, one word, and then we're going to get the practical form of the magic board from the principal of Government Bilingual High School Education, but we're going to pass to you, sir.
I just wanted to point out that using technology has become, you know, part of our life at the Ministry of Secondary Education. For instance, every week in this room, Madam Minister is having a meeting with all the 10 regional delegate of the Ministry of Secondary Education, and it is done remotely.
Okay.
And it is every week, every Wednesday. Just to give you a rendezvous, you can come next Wednesday.
Oh, come. So that country where they will come and say, no, let us not do distance meeting will not work here, especially when it comes to us. So we're going to invite the principal of government bilingual high school, Itukeme, to introduce herself first and then tell us how the digital board, the magic board, works in your school.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, for giving me the floor. My name is Mrs. Catherine Bacha Forju, and I'll start by saying that we of Government Bilingual High School Itugebe, we are very privileged to have one of those magical boards on campus. The boards, I would say, are very, very magical. It is a vital tool. Those boards are a vital tool in enhancing pedagogy and fostering positive results in schools. I'll begin by saying it is an innovation in the educational landscape in Cameroon to have digital boards in public schools, and I thank the minister for doing that. The very presence of those boards in the school, it's captivating to students.
The impact on them, yes.
Yes, it is captivating. They are excited. They are ready to engage with those boards, and they are very, very
involved
with those boards. In the use of those boards, you see the students, they want to try their hands on it when given the opportunity, which promotes digital literacy.
Thank you so much. We're going to take the microphone and ask a question to the minister who could delegate someone to answer, or she answers herself. You're talking about students getting on with it. The boards have come, this new technology, and some teachers are strange to technology. So what about this? Those who are ready, or I should call them, it's not an insult, blockhead to technology.
Nobody works on those boards unless they have been trained. As you could see, was it yesterday? When did the principals come in? On Wednesday, when the principals came in to collect their boards. Everybody who collected a board had a training in our recording studios. So we don't take a chance. They do it. And sooner or later, once they get onto it, they get hooked. And we like that because like the children see it like cinema. You know, it's cinema, so they like it. But as they're liking it, they're training themselves. So the training is going on simultaneously as the teaching is going on.
Richard, I should give you the opportunity to ask one question.
Just a minute. Choneng, you want to say something?
Thank you, Your Excellency, for giving me the floor. It is important to know that with Promethean, we had a training of trainers.
Mm-hmm.
So Promethean trained a number of trainers, and these trainers are those who train the teachers in school so that they can be able to have a hand on the equipment we send. And apart from that, we have a group that follows up the use of these smart boards. And we are always giving them support, daily support on the use if there is any challenge on the way.
And I want to acknowledge the World Bank here for giving us funds to upskill the teachers. And so PADES, you know, is giving money not only to buy, but also to train the trainers, as he said. It's just my opportunity to say thank you to the World Bank and those who are running PADES.
If I may, in one word, I would also like to tell the professor of ICT something that we are doing here. because he was very pleased with the effort of Madam Minister. I would like to add that before all the main exams in our country, we have classes online addressed to all the students around the country on all the subjects before all the exams. You know, that is something that is already ongoing, and it is an achievement that we are very proud of.
Yes, I will allow one of the technical directors to say something. I see two of them, 1 minute. We have less than 5 minutes to go to the end of this program.
Oh, we've not even touched.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Moderator. I'm Ajay Peter. I'm the Inspector Coordinator General for Technical Industrial Techniques. Yeah, in the Ministry of Secondary Education, all is about innovation. And the recent innovation in my own sector deals with the revision of our curricula. We have over 47 specialties, 16 series, and the PADES, as the Minister mentioned, also developed new specialties drawn from the National Development Strategy, from the 4 sectors of energy, energy, digital technology, agro-industry, and construction. Those were the opportunity sectors that we're developing. And presently, we are also doing testing in the field because the Prime Minister came out with a decree number 075, instructing that we should test our curricula before validation. So we are presently working on that. So as I said earlier, somebody talked about, the director was talking about schools, clean schools. The aspect of attractivity, when a school is attractive, it draws students closer, and inclusiveness or inclusion is also about the digital technology. And inclusion is not all about disabled students. Inclusion is also about a complete learning environment, which comes with the magic board and so on.
Yes, we cannot be talking about technology without getting a word from the Director of Technical Education.
Yeah.
Yes, can we get the microphone to him?
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I am Mr. Nyanchi Wilfred. We must say that the clean school concept is a very broad concept and has many components. One very, very important component is entrepreneurship, where students have a mindset to leave school and create their own small enterprises. In Minisec, we have 84 mini incubators. These are units where children are trained on how to develop their own initiatives and also be able to create jobs for themselves and even employ other youths. Entrepreneurship is not only university. It begins from Minisec, from secondary to university level. And we think that is a very, very important innovation that Excellency brought. And our children will have hands-on skills through our incubators, and by so doing, be able to create jobs for themselves and other youths. Thank you.
Can you give us an example of what the technical schools have done already that's marketable?
We have several examples and success stories. I should begin with one which took place in Morocco. I was went there for a competition with students from Benin and even Morocco itself, and they came first. They came first, and they won the first prize, and they were all given scholarships, and they're right now studying or they're further than in Morocco. We also have students who competed with students here in University 1, Polytechnic, and they also won the first prize with a cash prize of 1,700,000 francs. These are all particular examples that we can give. And talking about entrepreneurship. How
about the chalk?
The chalk is another particular example because we use chalk on a daily basis.
Yeah. I
should add here that Her Excellency has a very big vision for the school in Ombe. We all know Ombe as a school without nostalgia. Ombe will become an incubator center where we can manufacture mechanical parts, electrical parts, and maybe even what we think of in terms of solar energy panels and all of that.
We cannot wait.
It's a major innovation.
We cannot wait to see that. Since we don't have enough time, I will give the floor 1 minute to 3 people before to the Secretary General before the Minister concludes. And I am going to start with Mr. Mulu. What is this I hear about NALONOF?
So NALONOF is one of the projects of Her Excellency to bring digital monitoring and accessibility in schools. So for instance, you can see we have like a fingerprint device here, and our own custom-made tablets that we plan to introduce in schools because, you know, for like the past, I don't know, 50 years of this country's existence, teachers have to, after they teach, they have to write down what they teach in what we call cahier de texte or logbooks. And then this takes like forever before they come to the ministry, and before the minister can make a decision to improve the education, we are already like 3 academic years ahead. And so Nal Enough is a project that will first of all be able to collect this data instantly. As the teacher is teaching and leaving class, we are already receiving data from all over the country. We can know that 4 million students were in school today, 3,000 teachers were in school today. We've covered 20% of the syllabus and things like that.
Thank you. Professor Victor Baraka, in 30 seconds, please.
All I can say is I'm very proud of what this ministry is doing. I just plead for Cameroonians to be supportive of this and not try to kill it. I know our people will try to kill good things.
They will not be
I have a friend, my friend was a former vice chancellor of Makerere University in Uganda, lost his job because he was doing what this ministry is doing, curbing corruption by getting people pay online. I know this.
It will not happen
people,
here.
So
now,
we need to be supportive of what Her Excellency and this great group of people are doing. I'm so proud to be a Cameroonian. And they make our jobs easier because they validate the importance of technology on our behalf without us
Thank you
preaching
so much.
Thank you.
Promise, 30 seconds. I gave 30 seconds. Prof took 2 minutes. Please.
I'll be brief.
Thank you.
So it's great for us as communicators to have this information, because when we go back home, we can talk to other doubting Thomases that it is happening in Cameroon, and it might take time for us to adapt to the differences, to the changes, to the evolution, like about the unique matriculation or unique identifier that students came up with. It's still difficult for some parents to understand, but thanks to this, and we hope that the ministry is going to organize more
personally
sessions.
love that unique identifier. Yes, Richard.
By conclusion, I would say subsequently, I wish we have a student in the panel, so you can also tell us how he or she feels using or being taught from the magic board. I think.
Thank you so much. In the demonstration, you saw that. And
so please, I just want to say that I wish you could come to us at 7 o'clock, when the students are online from the various regions, and they discover themselves. That makes it so exciting as well. And then you can tell how they're receiving this, how they're looking at the magic.
Now the challenge
boards.
is yours, not Yes, Mr. Secretary General.
I would just like to come back to what the director in charge of technical schools was saying a few minutes ago. This issue of entrepreneurship is about changing the paradigm, because the problem we are having is that when students are out of school, they are looking for a job. They want to be hired by the state or by a public company. Whereas if you are changing the mindset of a student, telling him that when he's still at school, he can start a business. So when he's out of school, it becomes very easy for him to do something that is useful for the society and for himself.
Thank you so much, sir. The Minister, Professor Nalova Lyonga, your vision for secondary education and your last word.
The vision for secondary education is that they should continue to try to make themselves people who will employ their peers, and that they should keep aside marriage, girlfriends, whatever, all other things, all other distractions. They should keep that aside. But they should come, because in our traditional societies, no child existed without work. All children did some form of apprenticeship, either from their fathers. The boys with their fathers, they did carpentry and other things. The girls with their mothers. All of us. You see me with this nice hair like this, you won't know that I used to carry water from a tap, from a stream. During the holidays, I had to go back to the village, and do this. That's how we were brought up. It's Western education that tells you that when you go to school, you don't do all those things. No. You have to do those things. And that's why we'll soon have apprenticeship in agriculture, and where we'll line up interests of the school and their locale, where the school is, for the children to do that with the community. You know, so I mean, there are lots of things that are going to happen, and AI has just come to facilitate things for us. I want to make sure that AI improves pedagogy and improves learning.
Thank you so much, Professor Nalova Dionga. Our time is up, ladies and gentlemen. You watch, you listen to all the participants on this program that I'm not going to introduce once again. It was a special edition of Press R, and we are just beginning. Thank you so much for your attention.